doing this, and I want to introduce our first speaker, Lexi Reach. He's going to give us a little talk about living with autism and ADHD. Welcome, Lexi.
All right, let me get up. So 5 minutes to talk and 5 minutes for questions. Set a timer for 5 minutes.
You can go a little longer than that, I think.
Oh man, if I have the opportunity to talk longer, I will. Hi, my name is Lexi. I was going to make a vaccine joke, but you know, I don't think it's the right time. I don't feel like making a vaccine joke. Now I have autism and ADHD, and what that means is, you know, my brain works differently than yours. It processes information differently than yours does. Like, for example, when I think of the word cat, I see a picture, I see a slightly NSFW image in my head. Like, cats have spikes on their penises, and that's why mating is often painful for the female cats. Kittens. I had a pair of kittens. Her name was Amber. So my brain kind of like goes from one thing to a completely unrelated thing to a completely unrelated thing, but for some reason it makes sense to me. Now, let's begin by talking about, so, I don't know if any of you know what autism is, but it's basically like a sensory process. It's a sensory processing disorder that affects how you perceive the world. For me, I have like sensitive hearing, and I listen in on conversations without really meaning to. Yeah. And then I'm going to look up things to say. So, okay, stimming. Stimming is something that autistic people do to kind of emotionally regulate. It helps like calm our nervous system down in a way. Like swaying back and forth is an example of stim, or like what I'm doing with my hands, or like looking around because I don't really want to make eye contact with anyone. I really should have prepared more. I also have ADHD, and that means ADHD is presented as lazy. I don't really think these people are lazy if their attention is more like focused on something else. Like I created an art piece, and I named my art pieces after my struggles. I created this art piece, and it's this beautiful like picture of like trees and a sunset. I called it "Should Have Showered." I called it "Should Have Showered" because at that time I should have showered instead of focusing on the artwork. Okay, so I'm kind of going on a ramble, and if you guys don't understand me, that's okay. This is just how my brain works, and I'm incredibly nervous.
You're doing really great.
Okay.
No worries.
You know what? I could talk about institutions and the internet. Oh, wait. Special interests. So something with autism is sometimes people have like intense interests, or like an intense interest in something. That's called special interest. And my special interest for the longest time, from like 2000 and let's say I was age 12 to like 18 or 19, the Winchester Mystery House. Now, let me tell you about the Winchester Mystery House. Sarah Winchester the Winchester Mystery House was originally an eight-room farmhouse. But when Sarah Winchester's husband, I want to say Sam Winchester because that reminds me of Supernatural, which is a show that I haven't watched before, but his name was something Winchester. Winchester created the Winchester rifle and profited off of that. After the husband of Sarah Winchester died, Sarah Winchester thought that the place was haunted. So the seance person told her, never stop building. But at the time of her death, Sarah Winchester, Winchester Mansion had a total of 160 rooms, 3 or 4 floors, 7 floors before that earthquake. And guess how many kitchens there were? There were 7. So yeah, special interests are cool. Now something with ADHD is like, you get like focused on something, you get so intensely focused that your brain just decides, no, I don't want to do that right now. I want to focus on this. And it could be anything from the like shit. I forgot to talk about institutions.
You've got extra time.
Oh, okay, let me tell you about institutions. So stigma, I was going to talk about stigma too. Now, mental health is often stigmatized, and I think this is my personal opinion, it's often stigmatized due to the history of mental health. And the history of mental health begins in mental asylums. Now, mental asylums were like places where you'd send crazy people, or people with depression, or housewives, or you know, developmentally disabled people. But they also had a place in Oregon called Fairview where they sent people, and that closed down in 2009. I don't know if this is relevant information, but places like the Oregon State Hospital is still in service, but it's only in service for like criminals, 307 cases. I don't know what that means. I just remember the number 307. Now, okay, I lost my train of thought. Emotions. Oh, okay, yeah. Now, emotions are often like more intense for people with ADHD and autism. It's a thing called emotional dysregulation. So, like, anxiety, it's more intense. If you feel it in the body. Joy, it's like a bubbly sensation that just has to come out. Fear, it feels cold and like your bones feel cold. I don't know how to describe it. All I know is your bones feel cold. Anger is like this like frustration, it's powerful. Sadness feels bittersweet. Bitter because it's sad, but sweet because it's also sad. Emotions, back to institutions. Now, the reason I don't really have anything else to say because I didn't really prepare.
Would you like to take some questions?
I would love to take some questions. If anyone has some, please make them difficult. Please make them about the Winchester Mystery House.
Well, I heard that there was a bunch of like scares things that just went to nowhere.
Yes, there are, and there are doorways that leads nowhere, and stained glass windows. And Sarah Winchester apparently paid her employees good for that time. So it was a really good place to be. And it's apparently haunted.
Where is the Winchester House?
San Jose. It's pretty whack. You can look up tours of the Winchester Mystery House, and it's pretty fun. I actually went there in like 2000 and whenever. It was fun. It's cool. It's a nice place. I would highly recommend it if you're in San Jose. It's a bit of a tourist trap apparently, but it's a good tourist trap. Unlike another tourist trap that I've never been to, but I'd recommend is the Oregon Vortex. It's a place where yes.
Go ahead and finish yours.
I lost my train of thought.
Oregon Vortex, it's cool, yeah. I've been there.
Is it a natural phenomena or is it a
Well,
set?
no, it's kind of a touristy trap, and there are tricks you can do that cause these three-dimensional real-life optical illusions. So it looks like, you know, the way this building is built, all askew, it looks like you can roll a golf ball along the rail, and it looks like it's going uphill and things like that. So that's
Yeah, it's a bit of a tourist trap.
yeah, it is. Yeah. What types of things do you focus on?
Oh my lord. I focus on haunted houses. Like there are like several different types of haunted houses. There are the regular haunted attractions, and then there's immersive theater, which is where you're a part of the story. And that idea just seems so cool to me for some reason. And then there's like more like immersive horror experiences where you know, things like electrocution and, like, believe me, it's legal, like, 17th Door is a haunt in California, I think, where it is, it kind of, but the 17th door, it's called the 17th door because there are 17 like different rooms that you can go into, like, and they progressively get scarier. Like in one room, they have like a tumble room. I've never been to this place, mind you. I also focus on like what's like yeah. I used to focus on like animals a lot, like wolves or drawing. I love drawing.
Hey, Lexi,
Yeah.
can I ask a question about autism? And some of the,
Autism. I summon the.
so I've known Lexi for a long time. She's my stepdaughter.
I got diagnosed in 2019 and I'm 23 now.
Do you want to share anything about that?
Oh my lord. How much time do I have?
I think you should just go for it.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Uh-huh.
So, I got diagnosed in 2019. And before then, I just thought I was a normal teenager. What is normal? It's a setting on a washing machine. One time in sixth grade, a kid asked me if I had a mental disability or if I just acted that way, and I responded, I just act this way because I didn't know anything different. Anyway, so the diagnosis was in 2019, and when I figured out that I was different, it was a bit of a mixed slew of emotions. Like self-consciousness is one, but like also like relief and so I've been like slowly. It's like when you are raised up not believing there's anything different about you, and then you find out that there are things different about you, you sort of have to relearn how your body works. It's like switching from a Mac to a Windows, or a iPhone to an Android, or yeah. Yes.
Somehow, I got the idea because of movies, I suppose, that if you have autism, you have real trouble connecting at all communicatively with other people.
Oh, social issues.
And so are there degrees where with autism you can't really communicate?
Well, so some people with autism are nonverbal, and they can use like machines to talk. I don't remember AAS machines. That's what they're called. Assisted something. I could be completely wrong. I'm sure Angela knows more about it, our lovely guest speaker. But if you're asking if we have trouble with social skills, social issues, it's more so because we cannot pick up like a just
Body language?
body language, yes. Or we don't like pick it up the same way y'all do. So sometimes if someone says something like a neutral tone, I'll kind of be puzzled about that social interaction. I also want to talk about masking while we're at it. Masking and camouflaging. There are 3 types of mask or camouflaging. Compensation, which is compensating for your autistic traits. Masking, which is hiding your autistic traits. And assimilation, which is a combination of using phrases, words, body language that you've learned over the years to sort of mask and hide those autistic traits. You may be wondering, why hide? Mostly due to like lack of social acceptance or stigma, or people already think people are weird. Why tell them? Like, why not? I don't know. Do you want to hear some jokes?
I have a question, Lexi.
Yes.
Behavior differences can be real gifts. Is there something about your autism that you felt is a gift that makes you more?
Like they use the term neurotypical for normal brains. I like to use the term neuromild for
Okay.
normal brains and neurospicy for spicy brains. You know, they're spicy. They have a little bit of cumin and oregano.
That's what I'm asking then. So what is the gift of your neurospiciness?
Oh my lord! I have a talent for making people laugh. And I also, go for it. You know me more than I do.
Well, it's in line with what Kate was asking you, and we were talking about it earlier today. So you're, relating, numbers with colors has
Oh,
always
yes.
fascinated me.
Synesthesia.
Synesthesia.
Kind of synesthesia.
Yeah.
So when I look at a number, I see the number, and then I also, this is, the number is black. The numbers on the page are black, but in my mind, I associate them with colors. And it's maybe synesthesia, I don't know. It's nice. It helps me remember numbers, like
Like the number 9.
like the number 9, or the number 8, or the number 7, or even the number 6, or 5. Oh my goodness, 4, 3, 2. Okay, I'm not getting any laughs from that, so I'm going to start with. Hey, you want to hear some jokes?
Sure.
All right. Okay, now why didn't the pirate see the movie? It was rated R. What's a pirate's favorite letter? R. You think it would be a R, but it's actually C. Why did the comedian go to the doctor? Because they broke their funny bone. I like this. So living with ADHD and autism is kind of the best of both worlds, but also the worst of both worlds. The best of both worlds, because you have an intense focus, you have amazing hearing or other senses. In some other people's case, it's the worst of both worlds because you have emotional dysregulation and the issues with executive function, and you kind of have to reward your brain. You kind of have to ask it if it wants a Scooby snack, and if it doesn't want a Scooby snack, which is, you'll have to offer it like 2 Scooby snacks or maybe 3 Scooby snacks. In Scooby-Doo, like, I don't know if y'all know Scooby-Doo. Do y'all know Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Force your brain to do something spooky. And my brain is like a toddler, or ADHD is like living with a toddler. But you yourself are the toddler, and you yourself are the adult. And yes.
Is there something in particular that you wish neuromild people were better at behaviorally in order to have easier interactions with you?
That's a tough one. No, I just wish they had more empathy, or like more empathy or understanding that people are different. You know, I respect people who try their best. And if you want to learn more about ADHD, there's this awesome ADHD YouTuber, How to ADHD. She's wonderful. I got distracted.
Are there more questions for Lexi?
I have a silly question, Lexi. You were talking to me about taking the bus over here, and riding the bus, and what it was like riding the bus. Yeah, someone wanted.
Oh my lord. Sometimes the bus can be a little bit noisy, but for the most part, it's fine. The bus system, the EMX system by my work, Usually it originally came by work or home every 20 minutes, which means 3 buses per hour. Now it only comes every half hour, which means 2 buses per hour, which means if I don't make the bus at, like, I get off on like 1:15 or 1:45 on Thursday, Saturday. If I don't make the bus at 1:19. I suppose Saturday doesn't really make sense, but the 5:45, if I don't make I also work on Fridays, so till 5:45, so if I don't make the bus that comes by Gateway at 5:48 or 1:38, 48, I'll have to wait like a 20 minutes to a half hour, and it's fine. Yes.
Lexi and I have ridden the bus together and she's much better at it than I am. But there have been,
Once,
energy, we were talking about how much energy it takes to do certain things while we were on the bus. Can you share a little bit about?
oh, yes, I can. So thank you for asking that question, because I feel like it ties into his question much better than what I was doing, which was giving like a broad. So what was the question again?
Energy.
Energy.
So you talked about energy.
Okay, yes, so if a room is quiet, I can focus. If a room is noisy and I'm talking to someone, it takes more focus. But like if I'm writing, that's fine, or if I'm reading, it kind of takes focus because noise. And this is kind of random, but I accidentally I was going to a dentist or orthodontist appointment or whatever, and I accidentally took the wrong bus and I ended up in Cottage Grove. So sometimes that happens.
And over the course of the day, you only have so much energy. So if you end up in Cottage Grove,
Then it takes time, and
it takes
I
time.
can't go back to the dentist, so I have to call out of work and the next day and go to the dentist or orthodontist that day instead. So I'd say my experience with the bus has been to my liking. I mean, sometimes you get bus crazies who hand you trash and say it's for you. Not making fun of that. That is a sad situation. But I also found it funny because she handed me a piece of trash and said it's for you.
Thanks, Lexi.
Okay.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
You can get my phone number from my stepmom.
Okay, thank you so much, Lexi. Our next speaker is Angela Finney from Kind Tree / Autism Rocks.
So this is gonna be a tough act to follow because, oh my gosh, you're an amazing speaker. You should.
I had a lot of vocal pauses and
Oh, but you did good, trust me. I really enjoyed it, and one of the first things I want to share is that I have a brother with autism, so I have been working in the field of developmental disabilities the majority of my life. When I first had my brother with a developmental disability, you know, my parents were really excited. They were having a baby. They started planning what football game he was going to be in, what college he would go to, all these ideas that we have for our children. And then she found out that he had autism, and it's like her world came crashing down. And that's not because we didn't totally love my brother. It's because if you think about 50 years ago, what type of services were available, it was a lot different. You know, Lexi talked a little bit about the state institution Fairview, which didn't even close until the 90s. You can imagine 50 years ago, people were still being put in institutions. Not as much, but back in the 1950s, there was a big movement with Fairview. At one point, if you had a child with a disability, they said, put them in institution, forget about it, move on with your life, have more children. And that is what the families believed was the best thing. There were no schools, there were no extracurricular activities, there were no social networks for people with disabilities. But families started saying, you know what, that's just not going to work for me. That's not the life I want for my family. And so people started opening up things like the Pearl Buck School. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it. It started in 1952 by Pearl Buck. She actually escaped Nazi Germany, came over here and was amazed at the poor services that we had available for people with developmental disabilities. She was a teacher, so she started the Pearl Buck School. And that was for people with developmental disabilities, and then there was, oh gosh, now I forgot what they're called, Easter Seals, which was a school for kids with disabilities. Now, when I had my brother, things were different back then. There really weren't a lot of resources. I was his primary caregiver as his sister, older sister, because there wasn't anywhere he could go. We tried the YMCA, and this isn't a knock on YMCA, but it was a complete failure for my family. Now, realize this was like 45 years ago, so times have definitely changed, but in a lot of ways they haven't. Because one of the reasons that it didn't work was that kids were making fun of my brother, and he was also a little bit older than most of the kids because he still needed childcare. And they started being mean to him. They started telling him to do things that were not appropriate, that were going to get him in trouble. And he just wanted to make friends. You know, that was his big thing. And the thing that he was really into was Back to the Future. He was going to invent the hoverboard because, by God, it's real. And he's going to do it. Still to this day, he is going to do it. Actually, now he's into Rocky. He has changed his name legally to Rocky. And he is very much into it. But, you know, as far as what the thoughts were 50 years ago about a child with a disability and what is available today has greatly changed. My brother did end up getting married. He has a beautiful little girl that I'm actually teaching to drive right now. She's 16. So life is good. And things have come a long ways, and it makes me very happy. I've been in this field for over 30 years as a professional, and before that, I worked directly with kids with autism because that's a real passion of mine, is creating a better life for everyone, and it's a place where I feel like I fit in. So that's really important. Now, I can't be as exciting as Lexi because I was so very excited, but I brought stickers, so I can at least brag you guys, right? So I'm gonna just pass some of these around. Feel free to take any. That's some artwork. If we could put the PowerPoint up, okay, I will get on with my conversation. There we go. Can you say first slide so it doesn't show? There we go. Okay, so I'm with Kind Tree Autism Rocks. We have been around for 25 years now. And I'm going to talk a little bit about our mission. I'm also going to talk a lot about autism. We do a lot of special events for people on the spectrum, and our coolest thing that we do is our camp once a year. So go ahead and go to the next slide.
Oh, now you're really testing.
Just push the space bar.
Thank you.
Should work. Why didn't it work? Oh, there we go. Okay. I'm not going to read our mission, but you're welcome to do it. But basically, this is how it started. 26 years ago now. Kind Tree was started by two gentlemen who worked in a group home for people with autism. And they realized that these guys were really bored and really isolated. They were also really into the country fair. Everybody knows what the country fair is, right? Okay. So they loved camping, they loved the outdoors, and they felt like the guys that were living in that house were just not having the same experiences that the neurotypical, neuromild individuals were having, and they wanted people to have fun. And that's really where Kind Tree started, was let's see how we can have fun, interact with each other, and make everything better for everyone. So what we do is we celebrate autism by changing perceptions and creating community. We are completely volunteer run. I think that's important to know. We're a grassroots organization. So as I said, we started with volunteers and we're still running with volunteers today. The different things that we do for autism is we do several things. So what we do, the biggest part of our mission besides camp is really introducing art to the autism community and helping them sell their art and exhibit their art around the community. And I am in charge of the art program, so you'll hear more about that than some of the other stuff, just because it's so much fun. We have Festival for Art, which is actually sponsored by the Land Arts Council. They give us the money to put on a big art show every year. So what happens is we have people actually from all over the country that submit their artwork. We judge the artwork, and then we get it framed, professionally framed, and we have a big show. These last 2 years, we did it at the Art Park in Springfield, which was a beautiful outdoor venue, completely accessible, which was great. This year was so hot though, but people still showed up. We sold quite a bit of art. We also sell stickers. We have cards that we sell, and 80% of all proceeds go directly to the person who's the artist. The rest is more for administrative printing and framing and that type of stuff. We do crafts at the art show. It's really a big family event, so it really brings everybody in at all different levels. And our artists really range in the types of art that they'll do. You're going to see up here, we have everything from the Oregon peach from the Oregon Country Fair, which is what that is, to this beautiful bird, to very abstract art. So you'll see people with all different types of passions, all types of mediums that they use. And so we also have art classes. Lane Arts Council is actually going to come and help us with that, which I'm really excited about. So bringing in artists and residents to work with the folks, and we serve people all age ranges. So we say birth to grave, cradle to grave. But this means that it doesn't matter how old you are, we've got something for you. The other thing we have is out at Valley River Center. I really encourage you to go to round one. There's this great big where the DMV used to be, is our big art display. And it has about 12 different artists that are featured there right now. It's a big window display. It's gorgeous, and the art is for sale. And one of the ways, and we also take it to businesses. So if you had a business that you wanted to do an art show at, it doesn't mean we actually have to come there. It just means that you put the art up with a QR code so that people can purchase the art. For a lot of people, this is their livelihood. This is how they make their money. And others, they're just hobbyists. So it's really kind of, it goes both ways. As I was saying, we do art shows. We have some of them like in family restaurants where we actually set up a table and we have some of the artists there and they show off their work, all the way to, like I said, just doing more of a gallery and everything in between. And then we also have our website. Don't look at it right now. It's under reconstruction. It is the historic 1980s website. It has every single thing we've ever done since the 80s when it was Eugene Free Network. But we're going to spice it up a little bit and archive some of that, because while the history is important, the really big thing about our website is all about art. If you go to our website, you will see you can buy cards from the artists. There are artist bios. You can buy prints. You can buy t-shirts, different things to help promote the artist's work, because that's one of the things that our folks struggle with the most is sometimes those social skills make it very difficult to go and ask, can I exhibit my work? Can I do this? You know, how can I sew you some of these cards? So we help that hand in hand. So we don't do it by ourselves. We all do it together. We're a group. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay. But we're also all about fun, like I said. So it's art and whimsy, and how can we have fun together? So the thing that we have coming up on the 30th is called our Halloween Disco Extravaganza. And it's very well attended. We have a band, we have a DJ, we play all kinds of games. We've got a fortune teller, which is what's happening in that picture right there. And people of all ages and all abilities come together and have fun. And it's really a great event. And we don't just serve people on the spectrum. We serve everybody who wants to come into our community. I think that's really important. Next slide. And of course, the ugly sweater event. This one is really fun. Everybody comes in their ugly sweaters, and we actually vote on who has the ugliest sweater and who has the coolest sweater. And if people come without their ugly sweater, we get donations of sweaters, and then they get to make their own ugly sweater. Once again, getting back to our artist roots, you know, how can we engage? I'm talking kind of fast because I know that I have a little bit less time, so slow me down if I talk too fast. But the ugly sweater is a lot of fun. Once again, we have a band, we have Santa Claus, we have crafts, we have all kinds of events for people to come together. And then the next slide. We also have every Friday social event. It used to be an in-person event, but then COVID hit. And we actually found it's working for us better to do it online, because people who might not be able to get to wherever we're at can join on Zoom, and pretty much well, everybody does have technology at this point, you know, especially after the pandemic. But what we really found with those Friday socials is they became very popular for, you know, all of us were so isolated during COVID. But this was really important for our folks. So we get together, we do art stuff together. There's one gal that likes to share how she does her art. She does it all digital. So she's done like making some cartoons when everybody's there. We also do like scavenger hunts. So somebody might say, find a pencil. And then they have to go find the pencil. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to do the 3-marker challenge. And the 3-marker challenge is you get 3 colors of pens. And then somebody comes up with a topic like ice cream and kittens. And then everybody has to draw ice cream and kittens. And then you all show your work. And it's kind of cool because everybody interprets that a little bit differently. And then we talk about it and share. And it's just, it's all done through the arts, like I said, but it's a way to engage with people where they're at. And we find a lot more commonalities than what we might otherwise think. Go ahead and go to the next slide. We also do peer support groups because parents still feel alone. Sometimes they don't have a lot of family who can give them recommendations. You know, just to give an example, I used to take care of this little boy who had autism that would bite. If he wanted your apple, he would not be above biting you to get to it. Mom and dad were really frustrated. You know, they didn't know what to do. So they called mom. She was across the country, and she said, well, just bite him back, he'll learn sooner or later. Well, okay, that's not really good advice. So talking with some professionals and some other families who have experienced similar things, you can give better advice. You can work with each other and feel supported, because it's not the same. While we all want the same thing for our life, whether we have a disability or not, we each walk our own path, right? And that's really important for these families to be able to connect with each other. We have had other classes pre-pandemic that were social skills classes, peer support. So just kids getting together and working with each other on different topics. But since COVID has hit, it's been really challenging to kind of get the pieces picked back up and find locations. That's our biggest challenge, is actually, we don't have a home. So we go to places like, churches, church rooms like this and stuff like that, and have activities. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Okay, this is the big one. This is what we just did in August. This is called our Friends and Family Camp. It's attended by over 250 people, completely volunteer run. Nobody is excluded from attending camp, regardless of their ability to pay. We have several scholarships, funds that are available. And everybody gets to come. So Lexi, if you were to come, you could bring your stepmom, you could bring your little brother. I don't know if you have one, but I'm just making that up.
Crap.
Okay, well, he's still invited. He's still invited. It's cool. Everybody's accepted for what they are. And you know, one thing that every year people say at the end of camp is, I think I found my tribe. I feel good. We do this big like home circle because country is kind of hippie-ish. I'll just tell you right now, country fair folk, right? So we do this big Ohm circle, and then everybody goes around. Not everybody's in the Ohm circle, so not everybody participates, but everybody gets a chance to say what was special about their time at camp. And time again, it's like, I made friends. I feel connected. I feel like I found my tribe. This is where I want to be. And that is what Kind Tree is all about. Helping people find their tribe, building community, and creating a better life through everybody through things like art and other activities. So, any questions? Yes.
Funding, how do you get funded?
That is a great question. So the majority of our funding comes from grants, like the Lane Arts Council, Oregon Community Foundation, you know, your typical people that give it to you. But we also do private donations. So pretty soon we'll be sending out our appeal that everybody does, right? So look for it in your mail, because I still have a list over here. So yeah, we do direct mail. We have a donation page. The 20% of the proceeds that goes to the artist really goes right back into the program. That's the majority, but since we're volunteers, really the only thing we need money for is the activities that we do. So like the Autism Society gave us a $10,000 grant for camp this year. If you can imagine 250 people, there's a lot of food, a lot of crafts and renting the facility and all that sort of stuff. So it really, the community comes together and puts it together. So that's kind of how it works. We don't have any government funding.
Where was the camp? This year?
Boy Scout camp. Do you know where that is out on the coast?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where we are every year. It's actually the only camp big enough for us.
How do people find you?
That's a great question. One of the ways that people find us is our art exhibits. They find out about autism. We also have a pretty strong network with other, what we call sister agencies, other agencies that provide services to people with autism and related disabilities. So we work with each other always, you know, who needs to come to this Friday social, who's isolated that maybe it is coming to a work program. Like the Arc of Lane Counties provides employment opportunities for people with disabilities and autism, but that's not really having fun. We all need to have a balance in life, so that's where Kind Tree comes in. We're all about having fun. Yes.
What's your website?
It is www.kindtree.org. Other questions?
How long has your organization been?
26 years. Yeah. So quite a while.
Since you stole the list, that you all you need to know now is that if it's in Santa Clara, then it's Eugene, Oregon, 97404.
Okay, yeah, right. Let's see.
All you need is our social security numbers and then you'll steal our entire.
So, I'd be happy to stay talk to you more about it. And then also, you guys have my contact info, so you can also reach out to me that way too, if you want to get a hold of me later. So, because I would love to talk to you more. And mark your calendar, if you like Halloween, we're gonna be doing lots of fun stuff on October 30th. So I'll get you the information. Other questions?
I just want to say that I love that your focus is fun.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Do you have any event, so I'll preface this with, I was invited to go to Kind Tree prom once.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's club, and it was such a great time. I had so much fun.
I've been to those two.
yeah.
We went together, actually. John
It was so much fun.
Nicholas's wedding there too.
That's right.
And so are there events like that where we could just go and pay admission and be there and have fun and
Absolutely, that is like the Halloween event. They are fundraisers, but they're pretty affordable to get in, like $5 to get in the door. And at the Vets Club is where we'll have our ugly sweater event. Everybody's welcome. So I would be happy to share more information, but it's also on the website.
If you can give us the information about events like that, then we can put it out through our community organization, social media and webpage, so that more people would come.
That would be awesome. We love
We'd
that.
be
Yeah.
happy to do that.
Okay. Other questions? You guys are such a great group. I just look around the room and everybody just looks so happy. I like that. Sometimes you get up in front of people and everybody's just like, you know, you guys are one group. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.